I know that ultimately what you want out of life is to be free, have a sense of freedom in your existence and feeling that freedom, that existence, just radiating pure, like pure you, your true self. And what I want to share with you is that you free yourself the moment you stop chasing everything, okay? And you choose the one thing that truly moves you through your life. Now, it sounds counterintuitive because the very essence of freedom means that everything is available, right? But really, what we're talking about is just not these tangible things, these materialistic things that we want to touch and experience, but rather the purity of being 100% you, right? Radiating that pureness, that absolute version of you. Because most times we have a problem with authenticity. We have a problem with being our true selves because we think that the world, we think that the universe even is going to judge you for being you. You think that life will be more difficult if you are actually authentically you. But in actuality, the opposite is true. The more you are, the more accepting, the more loving the universe, the world will become. Now, it doesn't happen initially. This is true. We find that when we look at the most impactful people in the world, in the beginning, they were looked at as outcasts, as weirdos, as even being crazy. But then over the course of time and their conviction, their commitment, ultimately their lack of choice to be other than them, the world, the universe succumbed to them. The universe bended to them. The world, even our society, shaped itself around that person's convictions and accepted them, loved them. And so you're going to be tested. But in order for you to beat and win over these tests, what I want you to do is learn to say no. Learn to say no to what drains you so that way you can say yes to what grows you. Okay. Now, that's the thing. It's a matter of distinguishing between what is actually serving you and what isn't. And oftentimes we have to go through it in order to understand that. But when you pay attention to your feelings and your emotions, your intuition, it'll tell you. It'll tell you when it's time to move on from this experience, move on from this interaction, move on from this relationship, move on from this job, move from this place. You see? And so the more you recognize the no's in your life, the easier it is for you to acknowledge and see the yes, right? And the yes represents you, what is in alignment with you, you know? So you essentially gain freedom when you remove these quote unquote distractions and choose one clear path. I know for me, for example, I am somebody who can do many things and I enjoy doing many things and I am talented at many things, but that doesn't mean I should do them all. Oftentimes that can be a trap. You're bombarded with all these ideas. Why? Because you are a creator. That is who you are. That's your very nature and essence. But that doesn't mean you can and you should try to create all things at one time. You know, even in the Bible, it says God broke things down day by day. There was a step, there was a process by which creation was created, okay, by which the world was created. And so I've broken down how even then throughout those 7 days of creation, how it really represents the metaphysical meanings and understandings of you as a creator, the God within you, and how you create your ideas and how they eventually materialize. And you finally get to the seventh day, the day of rest, where you absolutely embrace and enjoy your creation, right? But ultimately, you have to understand that there's a lot of things in this world. There's a lot of abundance. And sometimes that abundance becomes a distraction because you are on a unique path. And it is important for you to identify what that path is instead of looking at other people, right, around you and observing and looking at their path with envy, admiration, sometimes even gratitude, because you would rather not be in their path, right? You would rather not experience the things that they're going through in their life. So it gives you a sense of gratitude, and that's good. But oftentimes when we look at other people's paths, we become envious and we forget our own. And so it's important for you to always come back to self. You know, I reference a lot spiritual selfishness, where we always consider us. We always look at your own well-being, right? Your own desires. Why? Because everything starts and ends with you. Okay. Your relationships with other people, it starts with you. If you are taking care of yourself, if you are harmonious and balanced within yourself, then you can be a better friend. You can be a better companion. You can be a better partner, husband, wife, so parent even. So it's important to recognize you. Always come back to you, because you're the only one that's living your reality. And so if you're not taking care of you, then the reality that you are projecting out, the universe that is reflecting back to you, is going to be a reflection of that same imbalance, right? So if you're not taking care of the pain within you, then it's going to express itself outward, where everything around you will appear to be a representation of pain. That same pain, it's a manifestation of it. So all the things that you need to heal within must be addressed, okay? Must be looked at. Because if you're not looking at it, if you're not addressing it, then you're going to express it and experience it, okay? Why? Because the universe is telling you to address it. See, that's the way it works. When you look at your life and you look at everything that's happening around you and everything seems to be struggle and chaos and pain and suffering, that is because the universe is telling you to address that which is in you right now, which you are identifying with right now. If you look at all the people that think the world is doom and gloom and the world is going to hell, take a look at their life. Take a look at how they think about things. Chances are you really don't want to be around that kind of person, right? So I invite you to be mindful and not be that kind of person. Yeah, there are some harsh things going on in the world, but that isn't an opportunity to throw your hands up and say, you know what, I'm done. It's an opportunity to take responsibility. It's an opportunity to look within and say, this bothers me. What can I do about it? And if everybody were to do that, just imagine how beautiful, right? The things that we would see on social media would be. The things that we see on the news would be. The news probably wouldn't exist anymore, because we know the news only shares bad, negative information. And, basically they would have to either readjust or just make up stuff, right? So essentially you have to understand that when we talk about saying no to things, I mean, it can be related to business. When you think about business, people tell you to find a niche. You have some people on YouTube saying to do the opposite. Don't find a niche. You are the brand. Get into what you like doing, when you like doing it, so forth and so on. And that resonates with me to a degree, because I love doing different things. But I think is more important, and I found great satisfaction and happiness in actually picking one thing, telling myself no to everything else, at least at the moment, picking one thing and asking myself, what is the one thing that I can do for the rest of my life? The one thing that I can do all day, all night, you know, the one thing that I enjoy doing, I have a talent at doing, and I am curious and fascinated with doing and learning about. That is spirituality, right? And so that's what I chose to be my medium. That's what I understood as my purpose. Now, once I get to a point where that is what I'm known for ultimately, then maybe there are opportunities for me to grow and share with you the other things that I'm into if I know that's really what you want to or you're curious about. But I often ask myself, what is sharing my fitness journey or my relationships and all the other things that I have going on, really, how is that serving you, right? Now, it can serve you, of course, depending on how I deliver it and present it, of course, but I really have a passion for sharing spirituality, mindset, encouragement. That's something that I've always been able to do in all aspects of every category and every topic of my life. And so I found that me saying no to everything else at this moment was the most beneficial, allowed for the most growth, allowed me to be more disciplined, to be stronger, you see, to be focused. And I believe with focus, that's when you have the most impact, the most power to actually make a change in your life in alignment with who you know yourself to truly be, which I often refer to as your future self, because that is who you're destined to be, you see? So you niching down your focus is very important because it allows you to open up to success without being overwhelmed, you see? And then when you find yourself successful in that particular niche or in that direction or in that focus of or area in your life, then what you can do is implement what you've learned, right, from the journey of that, and then implement it into other areas of your life. I often talk about finding the thing that you are most proud of and successful with, and then reverse engineering that, dissecting that, distilling the information, and then learning how to apply what you naturally did toward what you want to do. Okay? Even in referring to the future self frequency and the book that I've written on how to align with the version of you that has it all, which you can find at futureselffrequency.com. It's a matter of aligning with the version of you that has it all through imagination, through meditation, okay, through journaling, channeling, and then taking that experience, taking that insight, that exchange, that interaction, and pulling with it the instructions, right? Pulling with it the observation, the learning of what that version of you is like, who they're like, what they're doing. And then pulling that with you in the present moment to actually become that version of you, you see? So you have to learn to narrow down your attention so that your energy expands instead of it scattering all over the place. That's a key thing. So whatever it is, if it's love, if it's money, if it's health, if it's simply your well-being and your spiritual fulfillment, decide what is most important for you at the moment. Focus on that. Okay? Master that. Temporarily say no to everything else. When you master that, because one is the most important thing to you, so that means that it'll bring the most impact into your life. Master that, And then once you've mastered that, not only did you master the thing that you find most important, but now you have the insight, the wisdom, the knowledge to master all of the other areas and categories of your life. So focus is important. Staying in a position where you are narrow is very important toward you experiencing life in the grand scheme of things. So narrow down your attention, focus your energy instead of it being scattered all over the place. When you focus your energy, is like a magnifying glass, right? You're bringing all the energy from the sun and you're focusing on one space, one spot. And that magnification creates a powerful means that can start a forest fire, you see, where the same energy, because it was scattered all over the place, it didn't. Now, I'm not saying start a forest fire, but you get the point, right? It's a matter of recognizing that all that you have is all that you need. All you need to do is focus it to get the fire going. You experience more of life's beauty when you focus, on what truly matters. If you focus on what truly matters, then everything else will be okay. It'll still be there. But you will, again, extract and receive all the knowledge from what really matters. And that will make the most change, most impact, and most fulfillment for you. So focus. Say no in order to say yes to you. Thank you so much. Feel free, go to futureselffrequency.com, pick up the bundle, the Future Self Frequency book, along with the My Future Self Journal. Thank you so much. Peace and abundance always.